Now on CoastTV News.
New plans in Ocean City to regulate short-term rental licenses, how property owners are reacting to council's latest move. Shopping mall denied. Sussex County Council says they were forced to reject a zoning change due to infrastructure. And the Epstein case continues on Capitol Hill, why former President Bill Clinton could be in legal trouble.
And the temperatures are expected to tumble in a major way as we go into the rest of the work week, and the wind chill will go below the teens.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Homes like these continue to be the #1 discussion in Ocean City. Good evening, I'm Christina DeRobertis. Madeline and Charlie are both out tonight. We begin in Ocean City with the latest on short-term rental regulations. It has been a hot topic for more than a year now. Today, the Ocean City Town Council discussed how to move forward with short-term rental licenses. That's in residential areas and mobile home communities. The council has brought 5 options down to 1. Coast TV reporter Kevin Zappe shows us what option has been moved future to a work session.
I really wish you would seriously consider and take into account the rights of every property owner.
Short-term rentals in these areas were the main discussion during Tuesday's Ocean City Council meeting, specifically on what to do with short-term rental licenses being purchased, something the town believes is a growing concern, while others don't think so.
We should be fixing problems and not stealing rights.
The council originally had 5 options on the table for what regulations they should implement to short-term rental licenses, but after a lengthy discussion, one option was approved for a future work session. The option that was moved forward would limit the amount of short-term rental licenses in these areas to only 10% of the total lots. Primary homeowners would get first dibs at purchasing a license, and at a later date, non-primary Ocean City homeowners would have the ability to apply if the cap has not been reached. Miller believes that is not fair.
I think that we shouldn't restrict it for anyone. But if you are a homesteader, you should have the right to rent your home.
With the clear option now moving forward, homeowners will have to wait and see whether this proposed regulation becomes official. I'm Kevin Zappe, Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Town officials tell us they also plan to discuss possible regulations to manage the turnover and operation of short-term rentals in those areas during a future council meeting. And according to the OC agenda, if that 10% cap is approved, that would allow for 375 short-term rental licenses in residential and mobile home areas. As of right now, there are 341 licenses in the areas. So those owners would be allowed to keep their licenses, and the remaining 34 would be open for others to take. New tonight, the Sussex County Council denied a zoning change for a major commercial development this afternoon. It's here on Route 24 in Mulberry Knoll Road, where the Atlantic Fields Shopping Mall was planned. It would have brought major names like Whole Foods, Costco, and Target. Coast TV reporter Emma Aiken is live in Georgetown now. Emma, it was a unanimous decision today.
Christina, it was a full house in there in the meeting today. You could practically hear community members holding their breath as we got closer to this vote. And with every no, you could hear gasps. By that 5th no, when council denied, most of the people in there erupted in applause, clapping, celebration. You could kind of feel the relief and the excitement. Moments later, people gathering right out here, continuing to celebrate. I heard people saying to each other, "We did it." Other people saying they were planning to throw a party tonight to celebrate. The shopping mall would have included major stores like Costco, Whole Foods, and Target. TJ Maxx and Ross were in negotiations to join too. The county council today saying they were forced to deny the project due to the state's lack of planning when it comes to the roads in Sussex County. We spoke with some neighbors who agree.
We already have problems with our infrastructure, and it's really just irresponsible to continue to overburden what we already doesn't serve us.
So you may be wondering, now what? Well, today the county told us that the developer can appeal this decision to the courts or can come back with a new plan in line with the current zoning. You may remember the developer of Atlantic Fields previously told CoastTV that this land will not remain a soybean farm and that development will go forward, whether it be single-family homes, affordable housing, or workforce housing. And this land is 73 acres. So by right, the developer can build more than 140 houses. Reporting live here in Georgetown, Emma Aiken, CoastTV News.
All right, thank you, Emma. And we want to know what you think about all this, so we're going to check on our CoastTV poll now. We're asking what you think Sussex County should prioritize in Route 24 development. Looking at the results, 68% say traffic solutions, 11% say environmental impact, 21% say economic growth. Thank you for your answers, and you can still vote. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. We'll have updated results a little later today. Meanwhile, a nonprofit group is pushing back against Sussex County Council's recent vote to rezone more than 39 acres of farmland near Lewis for housing and commercial use. On Monday, Route 24 Alliance formally submitted an appeal to challenge the council's decision, a decision they made on December 16th. That decision paves the way for the Route 24 development. Now, CoastTV did contact Bellmead Farm today for comment, but we did not hear back. Now we're looking live into Lewis, and it's time we check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams on our forecast.
Well, right now we're still in the midst of a relatively mild pattern, comparatively speaking, but the temperatures are about to tank in a major way, and that big hubbub we were talking about for Thursday for a possibility of snow, it's getting iffy at best, but the cold, that's looking like a sure bet. So in Laurel currently we're holding at 48 degrees, which is above the norm for this time of the year. And we will drop to 44 with increasing cloud cover as we progress throughout the rest of the nighttime hours. Currently, here's where we're holding steady at about 43 degrees in Rehoboth right now, 44 Bethany Beach as well as Ocean City. And we're holding currently at 46 degrees, not only in Georgetown, but also in Delmar, Gumboro, Millsboro, as well as Milton. Now, what changed with that? We're actually changing, and we actually have gotten a little more positive. We're actually 9 degrees warmer in places like Salisbury, 5 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago in places like Georgetown. But that trending upward is going to start spiraling the other way. But we do have current small craft advisory in effect for Castle Haven near the Cambridge area, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour winds. And it's going to stay blustery for places like Crisfield as well as towards Indian Hammock as well as Fairmount. And that's going to be a concern with 25-mile-per-hour winds until about 10 o'clock by the time we get into 10 o'clock for Wednesday. But overall, we're still quiet, generally speaking, throughout the entire mid-Atlantic region, but we do have this trough that's developing just to our west, and that will begin to swing some unpleasant cold air our way as well. And the cloud cover will go on the increase, and this is what we're looking like on Wednesday with the cloud cover that sets the stage for the possibility of snow. Now, that chance of snow we'll elaborate on coming up in our next weather segment. Till then, back to you, Christina.
Paul, thank you. Well, this afternoon, Delaware Senator Chris Coons spoke on the Senate floor to honor the life of Delaware State Police Corporal Matthew Ty Snook. Snook, you might remember, was killed in the line of duty on December 23rd, and here's what the senator said today.
I am so grateful for the service and sacrifice of Corporal Ty Snook of the Delaware State Police, a peacemaker, a hero, someone who deserves to be a legend in our national law enforcement community. May the God of love welcome you into his arms.
Staying on Capitol Hill, the Epstein files back in the spotlight today. Former President Bill Clinton could be in legal trouble after refusing to testify before a House committee. As NBC's Monica Alba reports, Clinton says he and his wife, Hillary Clinton, are being singled out.
Facing contempt of Congress charges, former President Bill Clinton defied a congressional subpoena, refusing to appear before a House committee investigating late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, saying the Justice Department has been used as a weapon. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is supposed to appear before the same committee tomorrow, but says she will be a no-show as well.
If this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
In a 4-page letter to the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, the Clintons say the subpoenas are legally invalid and, quote, every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people, no matter the consequences. For us, now is that time. And said they expected to be held in contempt, writing, quote, we will forcefully defend ourselves. Photos released last year by the Justice Department and House Democrats show the former president with Epstein. Clinton has said he didn't know about any crimes while he associated with Epstein and has never been accused of wrongdoing related to Epstein.
I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for.
After the pictures became public, Clinton's spokesperson said the DOJ should release all photos that include the former president.
No one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton.
The Oversight Committee has been investigating the Epstein case for months, and last summer subpoenaed several former Justice Department officials, but none have been called to testify in person. While it's rare that Congress subpoenas former presidents, it's not unprecedented. President Trump was subpoenaed after he left office to testify before the January 6th committee, but he ignored the subpoena. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.
Flights out west could be coming to Salisbury, what the airport is exploring now.
And we're watching out for the possibility of snow swinging in our general direction, but the path has become a little bit twisted. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment.
But first, why the US 50 bridge is closing and for how long. That's next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
The Ocean City Police Department says starting next week, the US 50 bridge will be fully closed. The closure running from January 20th until February 3rd. The Maryland Department of Transportation and State Highway Administration will be completing rehab work on the bridge. It is important to note the closure also includes marine traffic in the channel. And on your screen now is the latest property protected by an agricultural easement under Maryland's Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation. It's 186 acres off of Basket Switch Road in Worcester County. Now, including this purchase, more than 11,000 acres of farmland and forest in Worcester County are permanently protected. Weather is next here on Coast TV News. Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams is tracking your forecast in the First Alert Weather Center right now. Stay with us.
So we've enjoyed a relatively mild Monday and Tuesday, but now we have a storm system that's going to get a little closer to us, and it's going to drag some cold air our direction and then really put the switcheroo on how things feel outside. But right now, we're on the good side of the switcheroo. We're at 43 degrees, Rehoboth Beach, and we're still enjoying some sunshine, and we're going to stay in the lower 40s, but the cloud cover will begin to kind of increase as we progress throughout the rest of the evening hours. We are holding in the 40s pretty steadily throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula, generally speaking, holding at 45 degrees, not only in Millsboro, but also 45 degrees in Lewis, and we're holding at 44 degrees in Ocean City, 46 in Gumboro. There's a small craft advisory that is in effect for the Lewis Beach, Rehoboth, down to Ocean View and Fenwick Island, meaning we're bracing for about 25-mile-per-hour winds, but not there alone. On the Chesapeake Bay side, we're on that, and then for really the entire Delmarva Peninsula. So it's starting to become a little blustery, and that's typical for when a storm system begin to approach us. The winds and the concerns for the winds goes on the increase. A bit of this trough is helping to kick off some scattered snow showers up towards the Altoona area. Now that's not going to swing towards us, but I'm just kind of showing you the trigger mechanism for precipitation as it begins to migrate a little bit closer towards us. The cold air is going to be our main caveat that we have to keep a close eye on. Now, we're not concerned about it so much for Wednesday, but by the time we get to Thursday night going into Friday, that icicle goes all the way down past deep freeze, because we're going to have a serious kind of cold on Friday. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that. Let's talk about the precipitation, because several models have been hinting that we're going to have snow and then not have snow. So I'm going to go through all the models with you right here. So this first model is indicating, hey, we're looking for widespread precipitation, and we look at a decent slice of possible freezing rain and sleet. But that's early in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning Thursday, and that's a bit of an early run. I don't trust that one so much. But as you take a look at our Wednesday night going into Thursday, we start seeing dots of snow kicking in for us on Thursday morning. That's what I'm looking at, is more leaning towards more assuredly. But we're still talking about only about a 15% chance of precipitation, possibly snow or rain. But it's only a piddly little 15%. So I'm not going to go crazy over that, but I will analyze it because it's fun to analyze it, okay? So we're looking at 4 o'clock. By 6 o'clock in the morning, we're looking at a slice of snow possibly making its way through Highway 13. So then we break it down in even more detail. So at 3:30 in the morning, Seaford. And then up towards Highway 16 north of Seaford by 4 o'clock, and then 4:30 Seaford again. And then it begins to break up by 7 o'clock. It's not even sticking around for a long period of time for you to take a picture. And then Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach, 4 o'clock in the morning. Then it goes up towards Rehoboth and Lewis at 5 o'clock for Thursday morning. Then it disappears. So, yeah. so that's what we're looking at. So that begins to kind of push its way through. Now, the big story is going to be how cold it's going to be the next on Friday morning. Here's a look at the extended forecast. The wind chill Friday morning, Christina, is going to be 9 degrees.
I'm just going to pretend you didn't say that. Thanks, Paul. Well, flights heading out west could be coming to the Salisbury Regional Airport. Salisbury Airport Director Tony Rudy says his staff and local officials would like to talk with American Airlines about expanding flights. Rudy says there is a specific airport in mind, but he wouldn't tell us which one. Should this happen, though, one local official believes there would be plenty of interest on Delmarva.
Look, there's tens of thousands of old retirees, me to be one of them soon, living in Sussex County that would prefer to fly out of an easy airport like Salisbury than to drive to Philadelphia or Baltimore. That's just a fact.
Airport Director Tony Rudy says it's still unclear when discussion with American Airlines will really take off. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 5:30, Y-High takes on Parkside in boys basketball, and at 10:30 you can catch the final score. You can watch that Y-High game we just mentioned on DSN Plus along with some exclusives. At 5:30 p.m., James M. Bennett at Mardella in boys basketball. Also at 5:30, Kent Island at Cambridge South Dorchester, also in boys basketball. Coming up next, a carbon monoxide leak in a Selbyville home. What first responders say they found. Stay with us on Coast TV News at 5. The Selbyville Volunteer Fire Company says at about 11:30 last night, Station 88 was called to a home for carbon monoxide. The fire company says carbon monoxide alarms were going off when they arrived there. Crews searched the home and crawl spaces for signs of a leak, but authorities say the scene was cleared as safe. 0 injuries were reported. Consumer prices rose 2.7% last month, which is slightly more than economists were expecting. The annual pace of inflation remained the same from November. Analysts say despite modest improvement over last year, inflation is still presenting affordability concerns for many Americans. The issue of transgender women competing in women's school sports is set to be settled. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on the matter today. The Trump administration will appear to defend the bans as civil rights attorneys argue it violates the Constitution. And the position that the ban is illegal hinges on the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. Also, the 137 Venezuelan people in the U.S. deported last year may never receive due process. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says their location is unknown. That was his answer to a federal court's ruling requiring the Trump administration to give them due process. The issue is the migrants were sent to El Salvador under the Alien Enemies Act and accused of being part of a Venezuelan gang. El Salvador then released them all as part of a prisoner swap between the U.S. and Venezuela. Now here's a look live into Laurel. We have one more check on your forecast right after this. Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6 tonight, a Sussex County chef is taking her skills to the Winter Olympics. That story and more coming up on Coast TV News at 6.
Well, we're taking a look at traffic right now in Salisbury. It's actually seeing a bit of a backup happening for us, but we're looking at mainly clear conditions, so it's not a precipitation problem, so to speak, just a good old-fashioned traffic problem. Now, we anticipate that we're going to have to deal with much cooler weather by the time we get to the end of the week, but we're still in that mild feel for right now. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Roy Stanley of Millsboro. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis, property restoration expert. You can keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Listen, we have one more mild day before the cold steps in on Thursday and particularly Friday morning, where the wind chill is going to be a wonderful, balmy 9 degrees, he says sarcastically, tongue-in-cheek. We'll briefly recover a little bit on Saturday. But then after that, basically, folks, man, we're looking at that cold weather just sticking and staying around, really going into all of next week, and it's just time to pull out the serious jacket.
Well, it is January. Thank you, Colin. Thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 5 tonight. You can always find more news and weather. Just download our Coast TV News app. Inside Edition is next, and we're back at 6 p.m. Have a great evening.